Hello, this is a very tired Phil from the future here. This league is incredible. This is one of those times where I recommend watching every single round if you have the time. It will be worth your time. This is some of the most intricate magic. This is going to feel like a throwback to older Legacy. I think you all are going to enjoy this one a lot. But if you are on a limited time budget, the best round is round 2. My opponent's deck is crazy. I don't want to spoil what it is, but it's wild. And round 5 is also a Punishing Fire lands mirror. So, buckle up. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Edison has asked us to play with Punishing Fire lands. Punishing Fire used to be a premium control card, really engine in Legacy when paired with Grove of the Burnwillows, as you can force your opponent to gain life, and then the Punishing Fire can be returned to your hand for a single red mana. And as the game goes on, you can do things like 2 mana, Punishing Fire, 1 mana, return to hand, 2 mana, Punishing Fire, and you can gun down larger creatures. Unfortunately, as Legacy has gone on and power creep has happened, creatures just got bigger. You have Murktide Regents that regularly get into play for 2 mana. You now have not just Tarmogoyf, but a large number of Goyf-related creatures that are going to be outside of easy Punishing Fire range. And so a lot of lands decks now are in sort of green-white base so that they can play cards like Swords to Plowshares that cleanly go and answer the creatures that the opponents are playing. I have made only one main deck change to the list that Edison submitted. I have seen some lands players start to play Walk-in Closet as a Ramunap Excavator effect that just doesn't easily die. Enchantments are just harder to get rid of than creatures. And it technically has some other text. The way these unlock cards work is that at sorcery speed, you can pay the cost on the right side to unlock it and then get that effect. So we could cast spells from our graveyard this turn. That's probably not going to be relevant in the vast majority of our games, but sometimes lands decks just hit this end game stage where they're like, damn, I really wish I had an exploration. And Walk-in Closet is a way to do that. Edison's original list had 2 copies of Sylvan Library. I'm going to drop down to 1 to try and Walk-in Closet. As far as the sideboard goes, I've made 4 changes. I have put 4 copies of Leyline of the Void into the deck. Oops All Spells is really good and really popular right now, and the Fairy Macabres or Surgical Extractions that were in the original deck list, I just feel like they did not do enough in that matchup. And if we pair against that, I feel like we just kind of need like Leyline of the Void to help back up Bojuka Bog. Bojuka Bog with crop rotation is very, very good, but I don't want to be soft to that deck, if at all possible, because I feel like I'm running into it once or twice per league these days. It did cost me a couple of blue elemental blasts to put those cards into the deck, and so we're a little lighter on Magus of the Moon answers and Blood Moon answers than I might otherwise like. We do have the Punishing Fires +1 Kozilek's return as our ways to just easily clear out Magus, and we have a couple of Bow Sages as well as Force of Vigors for Blood Moon itself. It is possible that the metagame has shifted far enough away from the Eldrazi style decks that maybe Consign to Memory is not 100% necessary anymore, but it just catches a lot of random bullshit and is maybe something that our opponents might not be expecting. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that in the deck to see how it performs here. As far as actually winning the game here, we do have both the Dark Depths combo with Thespian Stage as well as Urza's Saga, but our win conditions are attached to lands. So the Blood Moon effects, the Harbinger of the Seas, those sorts of effects are going to be very, very good against us. So hopefully we dodge them or otherwise are able to play around them here. Yeah, I am excited about this one. I keep finding all these Duskmourn cards that just like totally slipped by, and then they just like find a home in Legacy or Modern or become very, very good in Commander. And, if you need any of those cards that look like that, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. I just bought a bunch of stuff from them at MagicCon Chicago. Promo code ThrabenU will save you a little bit on your order if you place an online order. And if you see this very, very sexy purple banner here at an in-person event, consider checking it out. They tend to have really good deals on older stuff, especially like your HP damage sort of things. So check them out if you're on a budget. All right, let's battle. All right, what are we doing with our lives over here? I have 2 mana. I have green mana. That matters a lot in these lands decks. Keep Reno? It's a little sketch if we get wastelanded, but hopefully it's fine. Opponent's a fan of the channel. Well, good luck. You're in a video. Let's see. What's your username mean? Reborn Vampire? Nautis root meaning birth, I believe. Although humorously, that root can also mean swim. Probably not what it means here. I also don't really know if Vampirus is actually Latin or if that's like fake Latin. Either way, message understood. Honest, good, noble hierarch. It sure would be a shame if some fucking monster came for your noble hierarch. Do I even kill it? Or do I just tabernacle it? I'm gonna tabernacle it. This may be me getting lost in the sauce. The hierarch is gonna pay for itself. Now, assuming that we're playing against something in the mavericky... Oh no. Oh no. Anyway, the mavericky style ballpark. The Soul Guide Lantern has relevant text in clearing out the graveyard so that I can Punishing Fire things. But I think, given that I'm seeing more mana dorks here, I'm leaning towards this being something in like the Cradle Control ballpark. So I think I'm just going to cycle this. Hitting something like an Exploration is just really good. I have a life from the Loam to get back Cradle. Let's do this, hope for no crop rotation, but we want to do it now. And then I will, I think, just throw down a Grove and pass. So now my opponent is going to be left with these like really tough choices in regards to paying for these mana dorks. Assuming they keep both, they can attack me for 2. Like the Exalted is relevant. But then next turn, I can start doing the whole Punishing Fire thing. Yeah, there's Gaia's Cradle. There is a green sun for X equals 2. That is a white of the Reliquary, which is currently a 2/2. And my opponent can sacrifice a creature to search for a land. I don't really want them to do that. I mean, that's probably not what I'm doing. I think we are into stage, Punishing Fire that white while I still can. And now my opponent can just tap their Gaia's Cradle to keep these creatures around and have some real amount of mana. Next turn, I can Punishing Fire for Wasteland to take out this Cradle, or alternatively, return Grove. So we're probably like this close to turning the corner on this game. And if my opponent can have a big natural order turn this turn or something, they will pull ahead significantly. That is a big natural order turn. That is what we do not want to see. Now, we are a deck that can... opponent can get... whoosy-whatsy, Endurance here. Endurance is really good right now. Yeah, so my opponent has Once Upon a Time, Endurance, and Dryad Arbor as the gets there. My life from the Loam has gotten significantly more awkward. Do I have an Expedition map here in this deck? I think I do. I do. I potentially want to play Urza's Saga to start going towards that. So let's go Grove, green mana with Grove, giving my opponent a life. This creates a priority pass where my opponent can attempt to remove my thing from my graveyard if they would like. And they would like. So Evoke happens. Now they can Endurance my Punishing Fire away. Do I care? I can just get it back by tapping this for red. I think I do want it. So we will just create another instance of this trigger. Pay the red. Now Endurance just clears my Wasteland, which is still relevant. And now this second Punishing Fire trigger is not going to do anything. I will then cast this Exploration. I will get Urza's Saga going. And then I have colorless mana that I can use on Pithing Needle. Elvish Reclaimer is pretty good. Grist is okay. Let's go Elvish. I could just go Wasteland to protect my own lands. That feels a bit much. Let's go Elvish Reclaimer. And now we'll pass. I have Urza Saga ticking up as a way to potentially answer Atraxa. I have some number of Maze of Ith. I have 3 Maze of Ith. I have an Otawara. Maybe I got greedy in keeping my Punishing Fire, and I'm just supposed to let Punishing Fire go to Life from the Loam. All right, there's a White of the Reliquary. So that's now 2 large creatures. I don't love that. Opponent has to sequence in that order. Oh, fuck. Sylvan Safekeeper. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's very, very, very bad. Once that's in play, it becomes much harder for me to answer Atraxa. Okay, am I dead? I can chump block this. I take a 7 to 8 in the air, depending on what my opponent does. All right. Fetch. Let's get a Trop so that Otawara becomes live. I will Life from the Loam. That single Wooded Foothills. I will replay that. Is Vigilant? Okay, no. It doesn't matter. I'm just making an Urza Saga Construct token. So I make token to block this, take 7 to 8 in the air, depending on whether or not my opponent actually attacks with this. I don't have mana to Punishing Fire this. That's just staying. Then I have Surveil Land to look for outs to Atraxa, and White of the Reliquary is also then a problem. Did I fuck up by not Surveil Landing with the original Wooded Foothills trigger? I am looking to do something like Expedition Map. No, this fucking Sylvan Safekeeper was a problem. Okay, yeah. All right. That's in play. That's also in play. Okay, opponent has a lot of power, but they're now hellbent. Unfortunately, I just think all the tools they have at their disposal are going to overpower me, and my opponent can also... Fuck, my opponent can also just, like, Bojuka Bog me. Fuck! Life's bad. Life's very bad. Oh no, phasing. Madara Uchiha. Fuck. Select the Naruto quote of your choice for this situation. Absolutely fucking got wrecked. So, just for giggles, I would have surveilled Crop Rotation into my graveyard. No, I was really covered there between Safekeeper and White of the Reliquary. Like, Bojuka Bog and Karakas were both problems, so I need to, like, Punishing Fire this. Oh, my opponent has so many lands. For a game that started off good, that turn where my opponent slipped Natural Order in was very strong. On my, like, turn 2 or 3, I forget when it was, I did have the option to just Punishing Fire and take out a Mana Dork. If I do that, instead of trying to get cute with Tabernacle, maybe I change the Gaia's Cradle math, and I slow that down a turn, and then I get some of my other stuff online. I might have had better lines in that game. Kozilek's Return feels okay. I don't know how much I care about triggered abilities here. I don't know that I'm really going to be sideboarding much. I think I have okay tools at my disposal here. Do I trim 1 Life from the Loam because my opponent has so many ways to Bojuka Bog? I could see that being reasonable logic. Oh boy. This is a high variance hand that I am considering keeping. It's a very good Urza Saga hand. But does that win me the game? If I Urza Saga, then I'm not just, like, wastelanding my opponent to take them off of resources. I don't know that a couple of Construct tokens just beats my opponent here. I think this is too much mana. This is mid. I am going to keep this. I am unsure if Urza Saga has a place in this hand. I think I am going to keep it, though. Like, the idea of Urza Saga forever sounds pretty good. I don't think I want that badly enough to draw it. Like, there's some times where that matters a ton, and there's some times where my opponent just, like, plays Mana Dork into Natural Order, and then the Pithing Needle does not meaningfully interact with that hand at all. Yeah, like, with this. I mean, we have a direction. Don't remember off the top of my head whether or not I have Yava Maya in this deck. I imagine that I have 1 or 2 copies of it. 1. That jerk is back. Oh shit, that's Cradle. That's a white of the Reliquary. You've got it. So this is just going to give my opponent access to things like Wasteland, which is problematic for me. Well. So I will Exploration. Let's get Maze of Ith going, or this, and then I'll just play a Forest as my second land. I don't want to show Dark Depths immediately. But I am in some real danger if my opponent can just Natural Order. Right, like land +3, Natural Order, get Hoof, dead me or close to it through Maze of Ith. Not this turn. So my opponent is going to accomplish a point of damage. But honestly, that's not too bad here. Fucking Talon Gates too. Fuck! Sure. That's not the end of the world. Okay. Now I only get one land drop. So I guess it's this one. I guess I just take out that Cradle. So the side I want to cast is Walk-in Closet. I can straight up just cast this for the other half. You may cast either half. Okay, cool. So bam. We're going to get a Walk-in Closet. And then I'll go ahead and just pass the turn. And then Wasteland my opponent's Cradle during their upkeep. 3 mana. Oh, opponent's got friends. There goes my Exploration that I potentially could have gotten back. That's exactly the interaction that I was talking about in the deck tech. Wait, did my... Holy shit, my opponent didn't target! Nice! Yeah, they went, you don't have any lands in graveyard, and normally that's true. That, like, you don't need to remove those things and put that Pithing Needle back into the deck. Alright, so attempt to Wasteland Gaia's Cradle, see if anything sexy happens here. 4 mana. Well, help. That's why opponent did not like bother doing it. They were just going to get it in a second. Right. Shroud. Shroud's relevant for Maze of Ith. I've got something else that I can just hit, though. So we Maze Endurance. I'm still taking 3-ish damage. I am taking 3. So I can do the Dark Depths thing, but if my opponent has Karakas, just get wrecked. Do I have any other options here? Not really. Yeah, please don't have Karakas, I guess. So this land does enter tapped, so Wasteland isn't going to disrupt me. I guess I pass turn and do this in upkeep. Don't think I have hard enough control on the game to do something like copy Maze of Ith here. I think enough other damage is just going to slip through that's a problem. Alright, so the White of the Reliquary thing is happening. Again, this land is going to enter tapped. Yep. Alright, so stage, target depths, 1 and 2. Keep the one with no ice counters to make a friend. Now I can start rebuying these lands from graveyard, but it sure feels like I'm dead. Yeah, that's a Natural Order. Assuming my opponent has Hoof. Feels like we're dead. Have not done math, but feels bad. Oh yeah, Sylvan Safekeeper can also just fuck with my Maze of Ith. My opponent's deck feels unbeatable. Alright, so I should go to blocks. The biggest thing is a 10-10. So I will block the 10-10. 8-9, 9-9. Attempt to maze that. But then this is just 16 right here, even assuming no nonsense. We got absolutely whooped. GG's, very well played by my opponent over there. Feels like what they are doing was lining up very well against what I was doing. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, which is just the best place to keep your online deck lists. And one of the things that I love about them is that you can use it to keep track of what cards you do and don't have for a deck. So for example, in this deck list, I have all of the cards, so there are nice blue bubbles filled in here, and that's automatically ported over to your collection tab, where you can see exactly what cards you do and don't have. Alright, we have been paired against a Yorion deck of some kind. I have a bananas hand. Double Mox Diamond Life from the Loam on turn 1. That just leads... Yeah, oh god. I'm gonna have to put a not safe for work trigger on this episode. This is hot. Don't see this every day. So after Double Mox Diamond, we get 2 Life from the Loam with 2 targets. Then I can immediately play Urza's Saga as my land drop and get Shadow Spear into play. And then I can Dredge or not, Life from the Loam, depending on what I see from my opponent here. On a blue deck, I probably Dredge Life from the Loam looking for Wasteland. Whereas if this is basic plains, I might just take a draw step. So I'll Dredge. I found Maze of Ith. That's okay. How do I lose? I lose by my opponent reanimating some card. Probably lose by my opponent reanimating some card. Let's just take that. Let's Life from the Loam with just Maze of Ith as a target. Let's throw that into play. And I'm more insulated against the fair decks of the format, you know, your Delvers and stuff, by having Maze of Ith in play. And my line looks pretty bad if in reality my opponent is just playing something like Doomsday and I'm not pressuring their life total. All right, so let's hope they are not Doomsday. Yeah, let's hope they are not Doomsday. Oh shit, they're letting me Needle Delta? Fuck yeah, that is not what I was planning on doing, but we will take that. Fetch in response to Urza's Saga triggers. It saves lives. Green in 1 for that Life from the Loam, which I will just replay Urza's Saga immediately and pass the turn. 3 Stone Rain on Urza's Saga was lucky. Ponder away. Alright, opponent wanted their card. They've got a new fetch land. I think I'm fine continuing to Dredge Life from the Loam. Tabernacle, all that stuff is kind of whatever. I've got 1 to make Urza Saga token. I think I'm just getting a tapped land out of the way here. And I'm going to pass turn. I've got a lot of really good stuff going on. I didn't hit the wasteland that I wanted, but honestly, I don't think I'm going to complain here. Do your thing. What I imagine is a Surveil land. That is a Sewers. An opponent likes their card. Once again, I am begging you, please don't be Doomsday. Okay, not Doomsday. Oh, is this like a stock up Grixis control deck? That's a little spicy. I wonder how that feels here. I have been saying that I think stock up is very, very good in blue Ancient Tomb decks, but oh? Interesting. Now I'm a little confused, I'm not going to lie. I'll dredge this other Life from the Loam. That's a Boseiju. That's a thing. I think we're just beaten down. So bam and bam. Make a friend. Map matter? I'm not sure that map matters. I think I just Mox Diamond. So Mox Diamond, discard Grove, 2 mana, Life from the Loam, Saga, Boseiju, maybe Commercial District, 1 and 2. Do the thing. Drop Urza's Saga. Swing in for 8. Opponent is at 11. And I'm left quite unsure what deck they are. Like, is this a Storm deck that is just playing stock up? Okay, that felt like a very long game, but it's only turn 5. Like, am I boarding for combo? I'm not sure. Like, how much did my random Soul Guide Lantern hurt my opponent versus how much did that Pithing Needle hurt them? Is this a control deck that happens to have a couple of Lotus Petals to accelerate out stock up because that card's good? Fascinating. Okay, let's figure our shit out here. No. If this is something like Storm, this matters a lot. I'm always going to play these Pyroblasts. I think I'm just going to play Consign to Memory, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's unclear to me if Cage is currently good. I think I'm going to take Pithing Needle out of my deck, despite the fact that I randomly got a Polluted Delta there. I think that's one of those, like, that shit doesn't fly twice. I think Sylvan Library is probably slow. Punishing Fire probably doesn't matter. I think I'm, like, gearing towards my opponent is combo, where that doesn't so much matter. I could play this random Grafdigger's Cage. I can potentially cut some flex lands like Caracas that are unlikely to be super relevant. Like, I do something like that if I want to play those 7 sideboard cards, and that doesn't really hurt my Mox Diamond count all that much. I could do this. What if there is, like, Goyfs or something out of the sideboard? I just try to power through with tokens and such. This is where I'm at. By the time this video is live, someone in the comments is going to go, actually, this is the Epic Storm version 69.420. Bryant has been trying out Yorion Lotus Petal Storm. But like this Yorion is really fucking weird. If I can play lands from graveyard, this probably ends up working out. The comedic timing there is not lost on me. Holy shit, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, so, like, what are we doing over there? And I mean it in, like, the curious sort of way. Alright, oh, this is very awkward against Leyline. Because, like, the Boseiju can answer Leyline. I kind of need that. I think I might be doing a crazy person thing. I think I am doing Mox Diamond, discard Urza's Saga, pass turn with Red Elemental Blast up for effects like Stock Up, and I don't make a land drop in hopes of drawing a land so that I can Boseiju Leyline of the Void, and then I turn this on for the future. Oh, 4 mana. Please show me a win condition. I am morbidly curious. No shit. Is this just like we stock up fairly? I mean, this is why I held up Red Blast, but I'm puzzled. Okay. So that was a 2-for-1 in my favor. Okay, so there is my land that I want. Now I will play Thespian Stage, pass turn Boseiju Leyline in a second, and then maybe we hit a fetch land or something to start doing cool stuff with this. Okay, it looks like opponent is passing. So giving them the bonus mana is maybe not the best, but I think I need to get that Leyline out of there. Like, I think this is my long-term plan for winning the game one way or another. What are you cooking, Magic Dads? What are you cooking? Okay, so I will bog you. And I think since my exploration doesn't do anything yet, I just pass the turn holding up another Reb because the stock up effects are so strong. I am a genius. Boop. And now we've weathered another one of their turns. Tabernacle. It is unclear to me whether or not that is good. I don't think I need to play that immediately. Let's cast Walk-In Closet before I randomly lose that to some discard spell. And I think I'll hold this for 1 turn. Like, I can just exploration into something else next turn. All right, we drew the Mox Diamond. So Mox Diamond, discard Tabernacle, play Tabernacle from graveyard for value. Storm is 1. I don't need other colors here, so Storm is 2. Pass. So I could, at 6 mana, Red Elemental Blast a Murktide Region or something. Ancient Tomb. Oh, fuck. Uh-huh. Shit. All right, show me cards in your deck. Wild. Okay. We need to reevaluate sideboarding a little bit. Opponent's deck is sweet. So my opponent gets Delta, Shallowgrave, Thoughtseize, Grizzlebrand, Lotus Petal. Uh-huh. They unmask themselves. No, I do not like where this is going. I hate it. Oh shit, end Sneak Attack. Alright, my opponent is cooking. Absolutely cooking. They get to draw so many cards here. Oh yeah, no, they're going to 4. So they just have all so they probably have like Chrome Mox too, just like Lotus Petal, Chrome Mox, Dark Rituals, accelerate out some bullshit. Yorion as a failsafe. Oh, they went deeper. Oh shit. Well, I am looking forward to you discarding your hand at the end of turn so I can see more of this hot goodness. I'm going to dismiss those. Alright, what the hell is going to graveyard here? Okay, stuff that I would have expected given what is here. That is a pretty lucky Pyroblast off the top. So we can go ahead and destroy an Atraxa. That solves a temporary problem. However, I don't know how we're solving other problems yet. My Forgotten Cellar / Walk-In Closet is not currently popping off. Oh my god. We're getting more turns. Okay. So do I need Ancient Tomb? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With 1 more mana, I could Sorcery Speed Pyroblast a blue thing. The Ancient Tomb might otherwise be problematic. I think I am just going to get some bonus mana here. Okay, Crop Rotation. Okay, yeah. So I will Crop Rotation, rotating a Bojuka Bog so that I can replay Bojuka Bog from graveyard and nuke my opponent's graveyard. And then I will get a Dark Depths for my Thespian stage as well. So bam, Ojuka Bog, blah, 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 blah. Bog target you. I need to do this now. So stage, target depths 1 and 2. Keep the one with no ice counters. Make a 20/20. Replay a land. Replay a land. Okay. Okay. We cooked. This game is exciting. This is very fun. All right, land drop from my opponent. We could eat like sneak attack activate now. Oh, nice. Okay. So I sacrifice this. I can make another one after the Archon of Cruelty trigger attack happens. What does that do? Oh, geez, everything is weird. Okay, so that gives me access to Maze of Ith, very notably here. Okay, so bam, bam, or rather bam, bam, bam. That's this stuff, and then I crop rotation Tabernacle into probably Maze, maybe not Maze. Okay, so same thing as before. I can crop rotation now and then make my land drops again. No, but I don't want to do that because I want to do that after this Archon trigger. What if do I want to crop rotation for Maze now? Maybe I want to hold that. I only want the Maze if this does not work. Yeah, okay. This game has been very intricate. Walk-in closet doing some work here in terms of like enabling some weird lines. This card is cool. Oh, but I guess I'm using this in response to the Archon trigger though. I don't know, this way I can end up with a Bojuka Bog in my graveyard. So bam, green, crop rotation, sack Bog, get Maze of Ith, let Archon trigger resolve, Thespian stage, target Dark Depths, keep the one with no ice counters. What if I kill this and my opponent reanimates it again? I take 6 and go to 1. I'll look really dumb if my opponent casts another Archon. I don't want to lose this creature. 6? Take 6, go to 1. I'm not putting that in graveyard. Oh, shit. Okay, so opponent is discarding. Oh. This is indestructible. So I do not need to pay. Oh no. Oh no. Fuck. So my opponent now deals 3 damage to my face and kills me. If I block the Archon, my opponent shallow graves the Archon to get rid of my Merit Lage. They've got me either way. Well, okay, so they shallow grave it, I take 3, they draw another card, and then I have a chance to continue the game. Fucking wild game. Magic is so good when it's good. Okay, so now I know what's actually happening. So this Consigned to Memory is way less important than I thought. This Maze of Ith is way better than I thought. Leyline of the Void is much better than I thought. So let's resort this by mana value. The Pyroblast stuff definitely matters. The Graveyard Hate matters. The Shadow Spear matters a lot less. Now that I know what my opponent is doing. The Tabernacle does not matter very much. That can very easily go. What else? Sylvan Library. Sylvan Library is very high variance here, because sometimes it's too slow for the combo stuff, and sometimes we get into an awkward mid-game where it's one of the better cards in my deck. I think I'm not going to play it, but it's very close on that one. Blast Zone can probably go. That's another thing that I can realistically cut here. It's just quite slow. This is a hand. This is a hand of Magic the Gathering cards. This is an extremely high variance hand, where how good this is depends on how good Wasteland is and how much fast mana my opponent has. Like, sometimes they just Dark Ritual and go off on turn 1 if I keep this hand. I think since I have Leyline of the Void, I don't accept a 7 that looks like that. Alright. That's not good. That is not good. It is 1 land away from being very strong, because Leyline stops Reanimator stuff, and then these Red Elemental Blasts stop Show and Tell type effects. I probably have fewer red sources in my deck than I would actually like. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 11 out of 53. That's not great. All right. Okay, this is the best hand so far. It is not perfect, and we are on 5. We are going to need help from the top of the deck. One stage is going back for sure, and then I think I'm just going to ignore red mana in the short term and get rid of Mox Diamond. This lets me keep a decent suite of utility lands here. My opponent is probably favored in this one. Hopefully Grafdigger's Cage does some work. I have been leylined. That is something that I am just going to accept, and I'll shut off your graveyard. There's a Valk and a Ponder. Okay. Exploration is like almost good. So let's put that into play. I'm going to hold Otawara for a little while, I think. That's sometimes a spell. It is a little hard for me to make multiple land drops in a meaningful way right now with the leyline in play. And if I bounce that with Otawara, my opponent is just in Grixis colors and can recast it. So we're in a slightly weird spot. Otawara's still a land, or still a spell, rather. What do I want to draw? Dark Depths, I guess, is like the easy one. So Dark Depths, Crop Rotation are very good. Ooh, just Otawara. From their perspective, I 100% would have cast that card, by the way. Like, it's very clear that I am holding some piece of interaction because, like, I did Exploration and passed with no follow-up land drop, so it's clearly a spell. Like, I think is a reasonable conclusion there. That is just, like, not correct in this exact instance. So we surveil. Mox Diamond, absolutely not. Go to exile. Am I holding that for a Mox Diamond? Let's go with no. Okay, we'll just put that in play. The Thespian stage is currently going to just target some land to turn into a mana producer. It might be a little annoying for my opponent to actually kill me here. Stock up is so good in this mid game where I'm not pressuring my opponent's life total. Oh, I guess I can Thespian stage Ancient Tomb so that I have 4 mana for Otawara. Fuck, I might have missed that a turn ago. Yeah, I was planning on just getting colored mana, but now Otawara is active. Saga's great. Saga's very good. I will pass this turn with Otawara available. Notably, Grafdigger's Cage does not stop my room of the house, my walk-in closet. You can't cast spells from graveyard, and creatures can't enter. Fuck, it's so strong. It's so strong. But it doesn't actually stop me from playing lands from graveyard. Now, my opponent is at 11. Guess I could beat them to death with an Urza Saga token. I am currently of the opinion that I am not bouncing this Leyline of the Void with Otawara. Oh, hate that. Okay. So I can Otawara sneak attack out of play, and my opponent... No, my opponent does have... They could have activated it this turn, but they didn't around Otawara. Next turn, they could activate around Otawara. Maybe we draw Wasteland. That's a Wasteland with extra steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Otawara, Leyline of the Void. Find Wasteland with crop rotation. Sending maybe Thespian stage to exile. 1, 2, 3. Or no, the thing will be out of play. Or discard Otawara, bounce Leyline. Green mana, crop rotation. I think we're getting rid of this. I can get it back in a second. Yeah. I think it is Wasteland. So Wasteland the red source to try to decrease multiple sneak attack activations happening. And then we pass with 2 Maze of Iths available to help fight off sneak attack. Emrakul is, I guess, scary. Alright, sneak attack happens. That's a Traxa. That gives my opponent more fuel. Grizzlebrand. Alright, a Grizzlebrand activation is live, but I'm not currently taking damage. I am also way down on clock. I've spent a lot of mental energy this game trying to rather this match trying to figure out what my opponent was doing. All right, so there's another sneak attack coming, and there's a Grizzlebrand coming. All right, so there's the mana to get that Grizzlebrand into play, potentially. Are we at Yorion Blink Atraxa yet? 3+5, no. At least not without some sort of Dark Ritual nonsense happening in the middle. Which honestly could happen. That is 3 mana. Stock up, show and tell. Negative. Black? Okay, recasting the Leyline, sure. And now I've got a Wasteland and a Thespian stage in there for if I hit something like a Life from the Loam, so that is live. I don't know, maybe I did my crop rotation wrong and I am just supposed to like go for a combo kill and hope that my 2 Maze of Iths make it through a turn cycle, rather than trying to stop multiple sneak attack activations. Maybe that was me getting lost in the sauce. Although I do kind of think that multiple sneak attack activations is the easiest way for me to lose. I'm just going to dismiss all of that. I know there is potentially a Grizzlebrand coming. What do I do about that? This one construct token is incredibly good. Ooh. 2 mana Boseiju Sneak Attack. Do I have a Pithing Needle in my deck? It's hard to remember. I do have a Pithing Needle in my deck. Pithing Needle Sneak Attack is incredibly strong then. I think I can make this token. We'll go yeah. Oh my god. I'm an idiot. I sideboarded it out. Alright, so we get Expedition Map instead. I hold Boseiju for Sneak Attack. Yeah, that was an oversight on my end. I boarded that out when I didn't know what my opponent was, but then I saw Sneak Attacks. It was just like clearly correct to bring that back in. Fuck! Double fuck! Oh man, I got punished so hard. So that's down, that's down. An on attack trigger is also going to hurt. So there's the Sneak Attack activation. That gets the Grizzlebrand. Now my opponent can draw 7 here in an attempt to overwhelm double Maze of Ith by putting in a 3rd creature. So there's red mana. Oh, okay. So my opponent gets to look 5 deep. And then I think if they find a creature, they win. They've got 13 cards in hand. All right, so trigger. I'm at 11. I will maze both of these. And then I can Expedition Map for Caracas, I guess. Oh, this is currently here. Okay, so my opponent was just physically entombing to pull a bad draw out of the deck. That's reasonable. And then lots of discard and graveyard-oriented stuff heading to graveyard here. Okay, so I am cracking this. Do I get a win condition? Like, do I just go for Saga? I can get a Boseiju to get rid of Sneak Attack in a minute. I think I'm getting a win condition. My opponent is at 5. I have an artifact in play already. It's possible I should turtle up more. It's possible I should just Bojuka bog them so that an answer to Grafdigger's Cage is not relevant. Possible I get Caracas so that Yorion isn't a problem. I'm unsure whether or not my opponent has forgotten about their Yorion. Because we know that I, maybe once or twice in the history of ever, have forgotten a Yorion when playing a weird deck. You know, not that it happens much, you know. Not regularly enough to be called out in the comments. Certainly not. All right, there is a fetch. So the kind of shitty thing here is that if my opponent has a creature in hand that can stop me from dealing lethal with an Urza Saga, I have to expend a Maze of Ith in order to stop them from gaining life with it, and that might open me up to something. Holy hell, this game is complicated. Very fun, though. So this is a 2/2. This is a 3/3. Okay, Soul Guide Lantern is fine. So I will Soul Guide Lantern. When that happens, I will take an Atraxa out from graveyard. I will attempt to swing in for lethal, presuming that I am going to need to tap a Maze of Ith to get myself out of the situation that I am putting myself into here. Yeah. Okay, so there is Grizzlebrand. Opponent blocks. I Maze of Ith, which prevents all damage that would be dealt to and by the creature. All right, so that gets me through that. I'll drop Forest. I think I pass turn now. And if it makes it to my opponent's end step without them doing anything, I can consider cracking Soul Guide Lantern. Okay, so my opponent is going to kind of be in a similar situation as to last turn, where they've still got some stuff that can save them. Okay, so my opponent conceded here. We win that match, but they can just put Yori into hand, cast Yori into to play, and then... No, I attack in with both 4/4s, and that still gets them. What a match. Opponent's deck is sweet. This is the recommended round for fucking sure. My opponent has noticed that I'm recording at nighttime, which I normally don't do, as I am a sleepy boy. My hand seems mediocre here. I'm not so much with the colored mana, and my hand feels slow. I have the good toys. I have Life from the Loam and Exploration. I have a Pithing Needle for opposing Wasteland if I want. My opponent says, I think I can get as lucky as you as long as I don't eat a turn 2 Winota. Well, lucky for you, you're not. I don't think so. Okay, this is going somewhere. So I'm... Keep these. I just want functional lands plus a little protection of some kind. You can make an argument for which piece of protection you want. Like, you can keep crop rotation to have access to Bojuka Bog if you just want to make the called shot in the dark that, like, hey, I want to be better versus Reanimator. And the crop rotations are actually, like, way better than normal with Walk-in Closet being in your deck. And that's something that I did not understand from the deck tech screen, that, like, seeing these cards in action, I am now starting to feel that. I think there should be another one of these in my deck. Although, Sylvan Library, real hot right here. Not gonna lie. Lorien Revealed? Same general gist. I do not care if my opponent reanimates a troll. That is something we handle cleanly with Maze of Ith, and I have ways to bring back Maze of Ith. Okay, fantastic. I'm going to presume that it's going to be correct to wasteland my opponent's Underground Sea instead of playing Sylvan Library immediately. I can Surveil land here. I think I'm just going to wait another turn cycle to use that Surveil land, though. Yavimaya, that's great with Maze of Ith. Take out Underground Sea. Oh, this deck is fun. And by this deck, I mean lands, generally speaking, not necessarily the exact rug build. Ponder away. Alright, so my opponent has found another land, so now I think I will go ahead and Surveil with our commercial district. Let's just put that in graveyard. I can get that back later, at least in theory, if I need to. Crop rotation's not good yet. It might be good in a minute. I don't know if the Sylvan Library is going to resolve. I find it unlikely. Like, my opponent's... Shit, okay. Anyway, my opponent is not reanimating Troll, so, like, what do they have in hand? Could be counterspells, could be the, like, Fatal Push, Sheoldred's Edict style flex slots, or it could be more expensive cards that come in at, like, 3 mana. Ooh, alright, so cool interaction here, sometimes comes up. So my opponent put their Surveil land into play, trigger on the stack they are brainstorming so that they can bin a card, and that is a way that you can dump something like an Atraxa or an Archon of Cruelty into graveyard from hand. Alright, so usual pile of nonsense here. My Maze of Ith is going to be pretty good against Atraxa, assuming no follow-up play. Alright, I think I need to track these. So, got Troll and Delta. Oh, no counter magic, actually. Entomb and Animate Dead, the choices. Alright, so my opponent got 4 cards off of Atraxa. And is maybe just going to straight up discard a Troll? Actually, they're discarding 2 cards. Alright, Sylvan Library trigger. Yes, I will use this. Oh, wow, Exploration's very good. I'm going to put back 1 crop rotation. And I think I pay the life for this. So, cast Exploration. If my opponent has a counterspell, this is a pretty good counterspell target. But this Sylvan Library did just resolve. Okay, that's Force of Will pitching Daze. Now, do I crop rotation, attempting to get Caracas or Bojuka Bog? My opponent just pitched a Daze. I saw another Daze off of the Atraxa trigger. It's a pretty big setback if this crop rotation gets countered. I think I'm just going to play Maze of Ith and call that good. And if my opponent has a Wasteland for Maze of Ith, then I can fire off Crop Rotation. And we can talk about counterspells when that happens. Oh, my end game. Okay, apparently it is a choice, though. So opponent might not have an easy counterspell for my Crop Rotation. That is the impression that I have, given how long that choice took. Okay. That gets Archon. So getting fucking dazed, right? I'm so getting fucking dazed. Show me. Show me your daze. Okay, it was not daze. Alright, so Archon hits play. I will discard Yavimaya so that I can keep the other Maze of Ith. And then I am taking 3 damage per... Yeah, okay, they didn't even bother. That's fair. I'm now taking 3 damage per turn cycle from Archon of Cruelty. Let's see what we can do here. I can get Atraxa out of play with Crop Rotation for Karakas. I'm a little tight on mana. Urza Saga goes on top. I guess Stage just goes on top. I make Maze of Ith as my land drop. I don't really want to do that. I maybe need to give up 4 life to just have another mana producing land. No. Every point of life matters here. Alright, so Maze of Ith, green, Crop Rotation, sack a Maze of Ith. This is a shuffle for Sylvan Library. Get Karakas. Karakas Atraxa. Maze of Ith keeps Archon of Cruelty in check-ish. I'm in a bad spot, though. It feels like my opponent is likely to win this game. I have sequences of draws that can get me out of this. It's just a little tough. Like, I have things like Otawara that can take an Archon out of play. Alright, Library Trigger. Fuck. Alright, Mox Diamonds go back. I don't know what I'm doing with this. So, am I getting half of Dark Depths combo? Yes. But I don't make a play yet. So, I need to let my opponent attack me so that I can Maze of Ith Archon of Cruelty, and then I Crop Rotation the Maze of Ith into Thespian Stage or Dark Depths, hoping to draw the other next turn. So I have 4 Thespian Stages that I can draw. That means that I should put a Dark Depths into play and hope to hit one of those 4 Thespian Stages off 3 looks with Sylvan Library. No. No. Alright. Couple of looks. That is not going to do it. I am now dead to board. But damn it, we were fighting. Alright, so Leyline of the Void, get in here. Grafdigger's Cage, get in here. Pyroblasts are maybe. I don't think I'm going to mess around with any of that stuff. Deathing Needle can go. Shadow Spear can probably go. Punishing Fires can probably go, unless there are sideboard juke dorks that I care about. The Douthie Voidwalker style cards. I think I will just try to beat them in a fair way without Punishing Fire. And then these are playable. I think just playable, though. I'm not sure if they're good. The Crop Rotations feel fine here, despite the fact that this is an opposing blue deck. I think I just need them for Bojuka Bog. This feels fine. Yeah. Feels fine. Do I lead on Trop or Boseiju? I will lead on Trop based on what I have just seen. That I can Boseiju that Leyline. Boseijuing the Leyline does not matter immediately. More generally in the matchup, Boseijuing an Animate Dead can sometimes be relevant. Grove is fine as a draw. Do I need double Crop Rotation up for any reason? Probably not, but I don't really need to play Stage immediately. So this seems fine. We've got some opposing fetch land action. And a Surveil land. Opponent likes their card. Probably not good for me. Ponder's fine, though. Regarding this Boseiju, there's like a conversation about like mana efficiency versus holding something up for Animate Dead as well. Let's just hold it up for a little while. Immediately punished by having the ability to put something into my graveyard. I would kind of like to. Just kind of, though. Alright, pass turn. We can just stare longingly at each other for a little while. So that's a shuffle for that Ponder. Alright, there is an Entomb. which I am prepared to fight over in some capacity. You may cantrip. There's a Scalding Tarn, no shuffle on the Ponder. Alright, yeah, we are staring at each other. I think I'm Bosejuing the Leyline. I think with Mox Diamond in hand and potentially multiple crop rotations coming up in the not too distant future, it is just worth it to have access to my graveyard. Unfortunately, the Boseiju is discarded as part of its activation cost, so by the time its ability resolves and the Leyline is destroyed, it is already in exile. So now, Mox Diamond is largely better than Taiga. That allows me to also make a Maze of Ith land drop. I am holding up double crop rotation for Bojuka Bog as a counter spell or a reanimation effect. Okay, so here we go. So I don't value this Grove very highly in this matchup, so we're going to start by trying to rotate the Grove. I could rotate the Stage, it's not doing a lot right now, but like Dark Depths is also a thing. I could also just like try to turn the corner and be the combo deck. I don't think that's what's happening though. Let's attempt crop rotation, sacrificing a Grove. Hardcast Force of Negation, maybe. Hardcast Force of Negation. Okay, so that's resolving. Now, I think I am trying to stop this, presuming that I have inevitability if this matchup goes longer. Let's crop rotation, sack Thespian Stage. There's Bog. Bog you. Reanimate is effectively countered. And now we're back on things on my terms. I have some shields versus creatures, but now I'm just looking to top deck a piece of fat. We want our super sexy walk-in closet. We want a Life from the Loam. We want an Urza's Saga, another crop rotation. All right, opponent is passing the turn. Hey, there's one of the cards I called out. Fantastic. Urza Saga is particularly good, as if this ticks up for a couple of turns. What is this? Bowmasters? Yeah, okay, it's Bowmasters, but my opponent is just lagging a little bit. Bowmasters does not seem particularly important in the matchup, like with me knowing my deck list, but I think my opponent saw me go to town with Sylvan Library last game and was probably like, yeah, no, we're not letting that happen again. Troll cycling. The Troll's getting pretty close to hard castable, but double Maze of Ith kind of makes that unappealing. Okay, no, they're just gonna reanimate it. That's fine. I mean, that's happening. Yeah, so my opponent doesn't bother doing the clicks for the attack. Now we're doing Urza Saga stuff. Maybe Thespian Stage Urza Saga stuff. All right, so opponent is swinging in with everybody. I am okay with this. This is potentially taking a spell out of my opponent's hand. I'm going to block the Bowmaster itself, and then I will maze these two. There's another Bowmaster. So I'm going to let that resolve. My opponent can point their damage here. Yeah. So now I can Maze of Ith the Troll, and then I'll take 2 this turn, and I will Maze of Ith the Orcish Bowmaster, so that does not deal damage to me. My opponent played that in a way where they pushed 1 extra damage instead of guaranteed killed my construct token. So let's go and try to stabilize the board here. Let's go 1 and 2, do this. This is going to get me Expedition Map. I will crack an Expedition Map. I'm going to get a Dark Depths. I'll play Dark Depths as one of my land drops. And now I have double Maze of Ith and have a looming 2020. My opponent could have Brazen Borrower. That's going to be their out to this. Sheoldred's Edict could also be a thing. I can also approach this match in a way where I just try to make a stream of construct tokens by copying. No, there was Dalthy Voidwalker. That was something I talked about a minute ago. Oh, yeah, sure. By making a Thespian Stage with Urza Saga abilities and then turning my Thespian Stage into a different land before it disappears. Okay, so there's currently nothing with void counters on it. The Thespian Stage or a Dark Depths going to exile is not currently problematic. Thespian Stage could target my Maze of Ith, but that's not something that works in the short term. So that's fine. So I think that means that I do this right now. My opponent says I feel like this game will last forever. We're here for a long time, not a good time. All right, so I will also cast this Exploration. I don't care if it gets dazed. That's just not relevant. All right, so I guess I can't eat a Sheoldred's Edict anymore, right? Like, I have multiple tokens, so it has to be Brazen Borrower. Okay, it is. Yeah, then we're here for a while. Okay, new Dark Depths. Fuck, I fucked up, I fucked up, I fucked up. Fuck, hopefully my opponent doesn't see that. They can make a 20/20. They can play my Thespian stage. I was supposed to hold this for a little while longer until I got a stage. I think that's pretty easy to miss, though. So I maze a big one. I maze a big one. I take 2. That's okay. Shadow, so I can't block. Foothills is kind of whatever. I'll pass turn. My attacks aren't good. I guess the 20/20 doesn't so much matter when I have Maze of Ith, right? Yeah, I guess that's not actually that relevant. All right, here we are. So, block body, okay. Maze big one, maze medium size one. Take some damage. I'm at 11. I did clear some Bowmasters. I guess my opponent could reanimate them. Yeah. But I only blocked 1/1s, so that's not actually killing a creature. It's just dealing additional damage, which is bad. I have not used a Surveil land. So this is kind of a big moment. That's slow here. I think I need something that does something next turn. That does not qualify. I also could have manually removed an ice counter. I don't think that's relevant. I think I am just dying. All right, everybody is coming to party. I'll take a block there and trade, and I will just keep taking 2 damage after I double maze. Down to 7. There, just for the sake of doing it. Leyline of the Void. I guess I don't have much else to do with my mana, and I guess it is technically relevant. Not like it's really going to change my opponent's sideboarding. I'm not yet convinced that I am dead. I don't think you counter that there. I just don't think that card matters with 4 onboard creatures. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what their like Brazen Borrower count is for like if that leyline resolves, then the graveyard is dead for the rest of the game. I guess if I stall them out, which I'm not that far away from doing. Okay, so they are getting in there with the Bowmaster. Do this. We'll maze the same 2 as before. And I will continue to take 2 damage. Okay, it is another Bowmaster this time. I'm going to lose this Construct token. I do trade for an onboard Bowmaster. Crop rotation for Tabernacle. Not that interesting. Crop rotation for stage? Or sorry, yeah, no, for Thespian stage. So I make a 20/20. I think that in theory does it. In theory. Crop rotation. I was going to sack Bog, but it's not actually going to my graveyard. So let's not sack Bog. Actually, maybe that is my worst land. All right, crop rotation. Sacrifice Bojuka Bog. All right, that is a force effect. So now, junk you, take 2, 3, 4. Not dead yet. I don't know how I win, though. I don't remember what game we are in. I don't remember if this is... Oh, fuck. Does that just do it? Yeah, because I think I was 1 away, right? So that puts me to 4 while increasing the amount of onboard power by 2. Maze, take lethal. All right, so my opponent gets that match. I have spots where I can play that differently, though. If I try to slow things down and go for an infinite maze of Ith situation, my opponent never saw any sort of wasteland effect to disrupt that. So in the confines of this exact game, that ends up working out pretty well. It's just very, very, very slow. Regardless, GG. All right. So this happens playing a mana base like lands sometimes where you just don't have the green mana to get things started. So despite the fact that like this looks really good on the surface, it's just not because it has no green mana. And this is basically the same hand that I just mulliganed. It's got a wasteland this time, but we're not actually all that likely to hit a green source. I'm going to go to 5. Yeah, no, absolutely. Fetch land's good with Life from the Loam. So we want fetch land, exploration, Life from the Loam, at least 1 more mana producing land. Let's throw back a Bojuka Bog and a Thespian stage and kind of keep some variety here. Oops, all polluted deltas. Unmask me. So about that Bojuka bug that I just bottomed. Alright, losing the exploration there is rough. Honestly, though, if my opponent knows that I have Bojuka bug, they can just play around it by doing something like end step Entomb and then going off. What did my opponent pitch there? They pitched Thoughtseize. Oh, okay. Not blue-black Reanimator. This may be a hybrid Reanimator / Witherbloom Apprentice Chain of Smog combo deck. That is my current called shot. Douthie Voidwalker. So let's fetch to put something in graveyard here, and then I can maybe surveil another land into the graveyard at the same time. I do... This card maybe matters. I'm going to send it to graveyard. I think I need to work on a way to win the game. And Soul Guide Lantern is not losing the game. Oh shit, nice. Okay. I'm just going to do this now. So bam, we'll Punishing Fire that. Now, unfortunately, the Punishing Fire ends up in exile. What happens is 2 damage is marked on Douthie Voidwalker. The spell resolves. The spell goes to the graveyard. Yeah. And then state-based effects are checked, and at that time, it's just not there anymore. Or rather, it has already changed zones before Douthie Voidwalker is technically removed. We're in a Thespian stage to just make a land drop in the future. I think that's about the best value that we are going to get from the Life from the Loam here, and then we'll just pass the turn. So I junked that Soul Guide Lantern, which got me the Punishing Fire, which answered the Douthie Voidwalker, but then the Reanimate was live. Can't have your cake and eat it too. I don't think I'm interested in Otawara-ing a Douthie Voidwalker, but I sure have an awful lot of nothing going on here. I will do some marginal thinning of my deck with a Windswept Heath. It is possible that my opponent has other duders like Opposition Agents and Orcish Bowmasters and stuff like that. 13. So it's possible that I go to fetch here, and this just gets disrupted. Not this time. Oh, that's my last fetchable already. I will try to keep that in mind. We're going to Thespian stage and just make another forest here. Not what I'm looking for. Probably not playing that immediately. I need 1 Maze of Ith, 1 Crop Rotation, 1 Dark Depths. Just kind of stop this nonsense here. I'll Otawara it if my life total gets a little bit lower, but that's just a really inefficient use of my resources. All right, so we're going to drag that over there. That gets Mox Diamond at some point if that becomes relevant, which it currently is not. Yeah, it currently is not. So I think I take this hit, and if Douthie Voidwalker comes in again, I will Otawara it. Hey, love that for me. I can also just copy that with this here forest. What all is over there? Okay. None of that is currently scary. What do you need 5 mana for? Oh, okay. No, that's fine. That makes sense. Dark Ritual. So let's untap that. And then I am just going to make another one here. They still tap for green mana because of Yavimaya, so I am covered in that capacity. Oops, all Maze of Iths. We might be stable. I don't know if my opponent has a true combo finish. Like, I haven't seen Entomb yet. Famous last words, right? Archon of Cruelty currently seems pretty good. Oh, opponent going for Atraxa. Sure, I don't even have to Otawara that. Alright, so more reanimation stuff. It's looking like my opponent is mono black in game 1. You may Thoughtseize me and take this Mox Diamond. There's Bloodstained Mire. So my opponent still has a Shallow Grave. Grizzlebrand. Okay. Maze of Iths doing some work. Take 0. Traxa gets exiled. There's a Grove of the Burn Willows, which is currently not too relevant. Wonder if it was objectively a mistake not playing my Wooded Foothills. I don't think that it matters. I don't have something like Field of the Dead. Actually, that wouldn't even matter for it either. I can do this all day, Douthie Voidwalker. Note that this Grizzlebrand is pretty close to hard castable here. Blast Zone is a way to get rid of Douthie Voidwalker and open up my graveyard again. I can also technically Blast Zone away some very, very large creatures, although I think that's pretty unlikely to happen. Get mazed. Oh my god, it's turn 11. No end of this game in sight. I think I will tick up Blast Zone to X equals 2. I'm not sure if I immediately crack it. Probably do. Let's Otawara go to my graveyard. Is Grizzlebrand getting discarded now? There's an Animate Dead discarded. That's a Shadow Spear. Not doing much. I think I'm okay with using Blast Zone. So let's just nuke that. Then I will drop a Shadow Spear. And I guess Wooded Foothills taps for a green, and my opponent knows that I have it. Let's just put that in play in case we need to do something like an Otawara activation and multiple Maze of Iths. Question mark, question mark, question mark. I know I can also just like hold it for Archon of Cruelty or whatever. All right, there is a hard cast Grizzlebrand that is not currently doing anything to kill me. My opponent might use it to draw 7. My opponent says, that's a first for me. Hardcasting Grizzlebrand. Normally, it feels better than this. I am honestly not even sure if I bounce that. I guess if I bounce it now, my opponent's decision to draw 7 gets weirder. Let's get that out of play and see if my opponent wants to draw cards. They did not. Or more accurately, they were F6'd. I lose out on my Tabernacle value. I'm just going to put that into play because my opponent does have cards in their deck that randomly will make me discard any card, like the Archon. Okay, I have nothing to do with all of this mana, and I like this still just being Maze of Ith. Okay, that is death for my opponent, assuming no interaction. I don't know if I can assume no interaction, though, right? Like, it's perfectly reasonable that my opponent would just have some sort of Sheoldred's Edict style interaction. They've got a decent number of cards in hand that they are not casting. Shallow Grave to put Grizzlebrand in play. I could Bojuka Bog to stop that. I think I'm just going to let it happen. I think I'm just going to let that happen. I think I'm safe. Those are famous last words. There's a draw 7. And we'll see where this goes. No. Or actually, I can just do it with this itself. Crop rotation, I'll sacrifice that Tabernacle. Thespian stage, I will select Dark Depths. I think that's better than selecting Caracas. That's going to put my opponent to 3. Oh. Okay, I think I have enough permanents that doesn't matter. I think that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's fine. Oh. Okay, so scoreboard. My opponent hard cast a Grizzlebrand. That's sweet. I survived an Emrakul and a Grizzlebrand attack simultaneously. That's also sweet. That was a 14-turn game. Holy moly. This has been a sweet league. All right, I'm going to play Leyline of the Voids and Grafdigger's Cages. I can play Consign to Memory if I want. Or sideboard Juke, Witherbloom Apprentice combo. That could stop. Let's stop Shallow, or not Shallow Grave. I really don't record this late anymore. Chain of Smog combo card. You target yourself, discard 2 cards. Chain of Smog, there we go. What is how does Chain of Smog read? I think it's a copy. Yeah, target player discards 2 cards. That player may copy the spell and may choose a new target for that copy. So that's not actually stopping that. I could Kozilek's Return as another removal card for that sort of stuff. Shadow Spear can go. Pithing Needle can hit Grizzlebrand. That's kind of a mid thing. My opponent is going to have some creatures. Tabernacle can probably go. That's not super potent here. Presumably against Bowmasters, Sylvan Library could go. I think I'm going to keep the Punishing Fires for the small creatures my opponent is likely playing. I need 2 cuts from here. Expedition Map is good. It is maybe expendable. Walk-in Closet is probably not correct for the matchup. I really like that card, though. I think I'm going to keep it. There could be opposing ley lines coming in. I could trim a Life from the Loam. Or trim this by similar logic. Fuck. All right, fine. And 61 card special, my deck is perfect. I've got 4 seconds left. I don't know what the last cut is. I will re-examine it if we go to a game 3. This is a little sketch. I'm not going to lie to you here, folks. This is a little sketch. I think this is strong enough that I just keep it because Leyline of the Void is very, very good against my opponent's pretty close to mono black reanimator deck. But yeah, things can get a little wonky. Urza Saga, Mox Diamond, discard Thespian Stage, hold up Punishing Fire for Deuter. I also have access to crop rotation away Urza Saga if things get a little wonky. I'm hoping my opponent just plays a Douthie Voidwalker or another similar card that I can just Punishing Fire this turn. Yeah, beautiful. So again, like we talked about before, the Punishing Fire is going to end up in exile. Never didn't have it. Okay, do I play the land or do I play the Mox Diamond? I think as the Life from the Loam deck, I play the Mox Diamond. This also just grows my sagas as much as possible. And I'll pass. We might get into some fun rule stuff next turn on my turn. All right, land drop. Have you seen my hand? No. They might hit double crop rotation here, though. Like, I think crop rotation is a very reasonable name. Yeah, they hit crop rotation. They get the 2-for-1. And it had to be that hit there, or the Leyline of the Void takes the Cabal Therapy. So, like, good on them. Cabal Therapy, one of the best cards in the game when you are very good at deducing what is in your opponent's hand. And one of the worst cards in the game when you aren't sure what your opponent is doing. There's something with a Void counter from before. There was a Punishing Fire. Got it. So I'm going to make my friend. It's a 3/3. Ooh, nice. I'm going to make my friend. It's a 4/4. I'm going to buff my friend. It is a 5/5. I have Leyline. I don't need Cage. I probably just take Map here. We go Map. We go Wasteland. We Wasteland the Underground Mortuary. We attack for 5. This has Shadow. It can't block. And next turn, I can Expedition Map for another Urza Saga to keep the pressure up, which I imagine is what I'm getting with this card. Things could change, though. 14. I'm going to get cracked back for 3. I'm just going to remind myself. Okay, so my opponent could get an Urza Saga at any time. Their Urza Saga feels slow in the face of my active Urza Saga with 5 counters on it. What's the disaster scenario here? Some sort of Force of Vigor, Meltdown sort of effect. Opponent is at 4. Even with fetching, one of these is lethal next turn. So let's turn this into Urza Saga, deploy Urza Saga, and pass. I don't think giving my opponent access to Expedition Map is super relevant. Hey, and we put a match win on the board. Is that round 4? We're 2-2. These games have been awesome, though. Like, very intricate, very, very, very skill testing. These have been hard games. All right, final round here. My hand looks pretty good. We have multiple green sources. We have Exploration. We have Urza Saga as a win condition. I can potentially Thespian Stage, copy Urza Saga, or copy Maze of Ith. I've got some like directionality, some ability to adapt to what my opponent is doing here. We don't want to play against spell-based combo here. I think I'm just dead to any sort of Storm-style deck. Commercial District. Fuck. I'm never going to bed. All right. Taiga. Exploration. Bonus land. I think I am going to just try to go aggro here. I'm going to play an Urza Saga. I'm going to drop an Expedition Map. And I'm going to try to beat my opponent to death here. This is a Punishing Fire lands mirror. These are notoriously long matchups. I haven't played too many of these with Urza Sagas, but back when it was just regular old Punishing Fires, like your Wastelands and Caracases and your own Thespian stages copying your opponent's Dark Depths meant that like winning with the 2020 was hard, so it often become these grind fests where you are trying to Punishing Fire the opponent's face until they die. God damn it. Yeah. Oh, opponent is a Malevolent Rumble version. Fuck, and it hit life from below. Oh god. I'm in such bad shape. Because now I can't Expedition Map for Wasteland. Shit, okay. My opponent picked their Mox Diamond there, which makes sense. Oh, no, 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 no. Wait, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. So, land drop 1, Expedition Map, Bojuka Bog, land drop 2, bog away that life from the Loam. Okay. I think my opponent might have gotten a little greedy there. We'll see. It's very hard to tell without knowing their hand. All right, there is a Wasteland. My opponent can start doing Urza Saga stuff. Am I copying their Urza Saga with my Thespian stage? Or am I just playing Sylvan? Or no, I can do both, right? I just have to play 2 mana-producing lands. Yes. I go like Grove, Library, pass. They do this, and I'm now going to wait for them to tap this Wasteland again to make another Urza Saga Construct token. Okay, nice. I'm a little rusty on my Thespian stage Urza Saga interactions. I believe this works the way that I want it to. I'm not going to look it up before I do it. Yeah. So this is giving me the Urza Saga now. Damn it. All right. My opponent says messed up that click 1 mouse button. I'm not sure which click they are referring to. But we are going to have a long, healthy game of Magic here. I think I am currently favored, despite the fact that my opponent is pretty far ahead on tempo. I think my Sylvan Library plus Exploration is pretty likely to bury them. Soul Guide Lantern is a reasonable thing to get to hedge against me ripping something like a Life from the Loam, which I'm pretty likely to do with Sylvan Library here. All right. My opponent's Wasteland over there has a lot of work to do. So Sylvan Library trigger. Ooh, these cards are great. I think I can pay life for something better than a forest later. I think I'll keep the Wasteland and the crop rotation though. All right, so this ticks up. Let's grind. Wasteland your Urza's Saga. Yeah, you can float mana. We'll change phases. Not my first rodeo. Not that I think you have anything to do with that. So play second land drop for turn, and just like very obvious play for my opponent is Wasteland this Maze of Ith, but I have crop rotation to blank that, so I will take a little bit of damage in the short term before I start doing cool things with my own Urza Saga. I'll Maze of Ith one of those. I am comfortable taking 4. I'm at 8. Oh, it's Wasteland my Urza Saga instead. Sure. Tap. Crop rotation away Urza Saga. I could just get a new Thespian stage. I could just get a new Urza Saga immediately. Get a new Maze of Ith. Be better versus multiple construct tokens. I think I will get an Urza Saga. Not sure about that decision. It seems fine. Wasteland's not amazing. Punishing Fire's not amazing. Boseiju is. So let's put Wasteland back. Let's put Punishing Fire back. This ticks up. Play Windswept Heath, pass turn, and I can use Windswept Heath to shuffle while also potentially Boseijuing away these construct tokens. It gives my opponent more mana, which I'm like not the biggest fan of, but I think we're doing okay. We'll Boseiju the other one. And notably, my opponent still has a Soul Guide Lantern hanging out, so Life from the Loam is not like this hyper crazy top deck. I'll Surveil land here. Absolutely not. And now we're making dudes. Caracas is kind of whatever as a draw. So I will make another friend. These are 2/2s. Oh, fuck. I'm not in the stage of the turn I thought I was. Oops. I don't need you. I also don't need you. I will use Urza Saga to shuffle this away. This is still fine. Shadow Spear? What if my opponent draws their own Life from the Loam, though? That's an unmitigated disaster. All right. So I will Soul Guide Lantern, taking out a Wasteland, I guess. I would trade 3/3 for 3/3 here. See how my opponent feels about that. They are going to take that damage. I'll put a Caracas in play. And now it's probably my opponent's turn to Surveil. No. They are getting a basic. Sylvan Library is doing some work. And I'm not interested in cracking this Soul Guide Lantern. That just chills there forever. Crop Rotation is a fine card. I go to 3. My opponent is a Punishing Fire deck. I maybe don't go to 3. All right, so I'm going to attempt to attack my opponent for 6, see if they do anything. I fucked up. This is such a bad attack. I play Life from the Loam first. God damn it. I'm an idiot. Because if I play the Life from the Loam, then those are 2/2s, and I, like, save the body. All right, Urza Saga, Boseiju, Thespian Stage. Damn it. Oh, that was so bad. I knew it right after I did it. So my opponent is in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation here. So I think they need to do this, but this means that the Life from the Loam remains in graveyard, and I can just start dredging it next turn. So this does leave them in a bad spot. But I could have 6 power in play instead of 2 here. Like, that was very, very bad on my end. All right. Crop Rotation is on top of my library. I am fine drawing that card here. But I don't really want to pay bonus life to get extra cards. I think I'm okay with just doing this. So I will use this ability. Yeah, you both can go back. Notice here I do not have the ability to put Life from the Loam back on top of library. So target Foothills, Maze of Ith, 1 and 2. All right, we will make our bonus land drops. I will attack for 2. And now I can also shuffle away the bad cards that are on top of my deck and put a fetch land in the graveyard for Life from the Loam purposes. Hopefully find a wasteland to deal with that Urza Saga. Fetch. I'll grab the basic, I guess. All right, so dredge this. Say yes. I do not want to do that. There is a Dark Depths. I do not want to play either one of those without a stage in play already to copy it. So both of those can just go directly on top. I could dredge through those immediately and look at one new card with Life from the Loam. I don't think that's worth it. All right, my opponent is at 9. I actually don't want both these Life from the Loams in the same zone at the same time. I will just pass. So now my opponent has a Saga on 2. Mox Diamond's fine. Yeah, so that's my opponent not wanting to play out Dark Depths as well. That makes sense to me. So I know I have 2 bad cards that I don't want here. I'm going to dredge this Life from the Loam. Punishing Fire and Dark Depths. I do not want those cards right now. This Urza Saga would be a 3/3. Actually, with Urza Saga as a 3/3, I Punishing Fire, return Punishing Fire. I do want the Punishing Fire. I go to 2, though? If my opponent has their own Punishing Fire, I die if I do that. I think that's fine. I think it's awkward. But I can run into Pithing Needle, Maze of Ith. I have larger bodies than you pretty much immediately. I'm going to put that on top. I'm going to pay 4 life for that. I'm going to be a coward and hold this Construct token back in case I am missing something. Oh, just beginning of combat, my opponent is doing their... Fuck! Damn it! All right, yeah, no, that's fair. Nope, I am dead. I played around one thing, I got by another. I accept my death. But if I don't do that, and my opponent does Pithing Needle, Maze of Ith, I can't get rid of that immediately. My opponent has 3, 3, 4, and my opponent has 2 5/5s to my 1 2 2. I think what I did was correct, even though it resulted in my death. Although you can make an argument that I am not supposed to dredge the Life from the Loam as the first thing that I do on the turn. No, I had multiple Dark Depths on top, right? No, that was fine. Oh. All right. I'm into Force of Vigor here, mostly for Urza Saga and Exploration, although we can hit some other things like this as well if my opponent is playing them. Consign to Memory has text. I don't know that I'm excited about it. I think it's just Force of Vigor. I could board out some number of Dark Depths. They're not great to play out because your opponent can just copy them. And it's also just really hard to do Dark Depths through Pithing Needles, Wasteland, sometimes Ghost Quarter Caracas, Otawara. Go down one of those. Every card that is in my deck from here, except maybe Tabernacle, is relevant and does something. I could go down Punishing Fire. That's another card that does not matter a lot of the time. I recognize that I was just killed by it, but I think this is my first Punishing Fire lands mirror in the post-Urza Saga world. It feels to me like this is much less relevant than it used to be, although it can hit Sagas, or Urza Saga tokens with a lot of mana like what we just had. What about Leyline of the Void? I don't know that I'm excited about that. It's like good. but I'm going down real relevant cards to play Leyline. This is probably fine. Exploration's really good. Leyline is also just something that walks into the 3-ish copies of Force of Vigor that my opponent is likely to be playing. So we Grove, we Exploration. I think we Commercial District immediately. I'm not ready for that card yet. I don't think that's hyper relevant. I'm not going to Force of Vigor that immediately. I will take both of those cards though. Fuck. Yeah. I mean, that's happening. I'm going to Force of Vigor both of these permanents though. That costs me a crop rotation. And then I'm going to use the other one to bog my opponent, I think. Oh, shit. So land drop 1, crop rotation, bog your Loam, and then 2 target life from the Loam. Second land drop. I'm going to keep that. Oh, that's awkward. I'm going to keep that in case I lose this first life from the Loam. It means that I am not dredging this. Well, I guess if it gets to my turn, I could dredge it. Magic's hard. Okay, so there's crop rotation. So this can be my opponent's own Bojuka Bog to get rid of this Leyline. The fact that I left another life from the Loam on top is actively good. So I play Maze of Ith, and I believe I do a 0 target naked life from the Loam here to dredge it next turn. And then hopefully my Exploration plus life from the Loam does cool stuff. All right, there's Blast Zone, which is not currently doing a lot, but could clear my Exploration in a minute. Oh, that's 0 targets. I can get a Punishing Fire back, though. I guess I am going to try to do that immediately. Or I take other game actions. Good old Nakey life from the Loam. Good honest magic. Opponent does not have green mana showing, by the way, so I should be careful not to play a Yavimaya in the short term. Ha! He's Yavimaya. All right. So this is going to be a dueling life from the Loam game with Blast Zone, the rec permanents. Okay, so life from the Loam, target Taiga. Okay, no, I don't want to tap like that. So target Taiga, I can just do it like this. Taiga to play, pass turn. Hopefully my opponent's life from the Loam is not significantly better than mine. If they start getting Urza, Sagas, and Wastelands, it's not the best for me. Okay, their life from the Loam also wasn't that great. They can hit 2 lands here. Oh? Oh, shit. Okay. That was unexpected. This destroys? That destroys. So that's not getting rid of life from the Loam. Let's turn Thespian stage into a Grove. Dredge life from the Loam. Okay, I hit an Urza Saga. That's getting me a start, but I sure as fuck am not getting my value out of Exploration here. I'm worried that I'm now losing this game, despite the fact that I have life from the Loam, Exploration. I think my opponent's One Ring is going to eat me alive. I'm not sure. I don't have, like, matchup heuristics and knowledge to know for sure. The children don't know. The children don't know how fucked up Zurin Orb is. My opponent might have misplayed. So they can Zurin Orb sacrifice Boseiju to Zurin Orb life from the Loam back Boseiju take out my life from the Loam. I guess that line's still available. Now it's not. Okay, now it's not. Good. What is that hitting? That is hitting my Urza Saga. I don't love that. I'll float a mana. Yeah. So I'm just going to nuke this Eldrazi token. Okay, I actually let Ghost Vacuum resolve. Yeah, no, I hate that. So I am now operating under the assumption that my opponent has missed the Bojuka Bog nuke my whole graveyard line as something that is possible. So I'm going to try to set up a Blast Zone so that I can maybe deal with their shit later. If I do that, I'm not copying that. Oh gosh. All right. I think this One Ring Zurin Orb shit eats me alive. The Ghost Vacuum did not help. What am I doing? How am I beating this? Oh god, there's Wasteland and Boseiju. I don't think I'm beating this anymore. Like, even with the extra land drops, I don't like I just missed on the extra land drops for so long. So now with that Wasteland there, I don't get to do the Blast Zone thing. There's not a basic in play for me to copy. I think I've lost this game, and I think I'm confident enough in that I'm going to concede here. I did not have lose to Zurin Orb on my bingo card for today. I guess I should have. It was very good there. GG's. Ooh, what a league. I'm very, very tired after playing that one. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I like elements of this deck list a lot. I don't think I would recommend playing this exact deck, but I liked some things from it a lot. Walk-in Closet feels like some very real legacy tech. I was very, very impressed by this card. I think it is... I don't like using strictly better because that assumes all situations. I think this is a largely better Ramunap Excavator if you are not doing something that can tutor it. Generally speaking, my experiences with Ramunap Excavator have been negative. It is one of the few things that you can point a removal spell at in this deck. So if you do something like Living Wish for it, you might use it to make one land drop and then it's just gone. And it hasn't been impressive. Whereas this has a much greater chance of sticking around if it does resolve. And getting that inevitability of replaying Blast Zones, replaying Urza Saga, replaying Wasteland, whatever, is really, really strong. I would be interested in playing some more lands decks that are playing multiple copies of this card. This feels incredibly strong to me. The Forgotten Seller side, I don't think was relevant this league, but I was thinking about it in, I think it was a show and tell matchup where there was like an Atraxa in play and I maybe would need to go 6 mana Forgotten Seller, do a Pyroblast. So like, there's worlds, there's timelines where that can be relevant. I think I really like Walk-in Closet in a Malevolent Rumble build of lands in particular, where you are just dumping those extra permanents into graveyard that you might accidentally bring back with Forgotten Seller later. I don't know how relevant the red actually was in the deck today. The sideboard blasts were relevant. The Punishing Fires cleaned up a couple of things. But I don't know that rug lands specifically for like the Ottawara and the Consigned Memory. I don't know that that's where you have to be. But I hope that gives you all some food for thought here. My brain is obliterated. This was a difficult and long league, but it was a lot of fun. So Edison, thanks as always for supporting some sweet land-based content. I'm going to go take a shower. Maybe you're going to go order some Magic cards, and if you do, toamagic.com. Promo code ThrabenU. Free shipping. It's good shit. All right. Good night, folks. See you next time.